dog swears they're healthier. Yet 3 months later, the cuff is still squeezing past 145. Frustration sets in and you ask yourself, how can I cut salt if every label measures sodium? Aren't they the same thing? The truth? Salt and sodium live in the same crystal, but they are not interchangeable terms, especially when it comes to blood pressure math. Most people slash visible salt, yet drown in hidden sodium. Tonight, we're going to dismantle that confusion once and for all. Salt versus sodium in plain language. Salt is a molecule of sodium plus chloride and ACl. By weight, it's 40% sodium, 60% chloride. When nutrition labels list sodium, they're only talking about that 40% slice, but in milligrams. So a product with 600 milligrams sodium equals roughly 1,500 milligrams salt. If you eliminate table salt sprinkles, about 500 milligrams sodium, yet scarf a microwave burrito containing 1,200 milligrams sodium, you actually increase your daily load. Your arteries don't care whether sodium rodent on sea salt, pink crystals, baking powder, soy sauce, or sodium ascorbate in your multivitamin. Once in your bloodstream, every sodium ion commands the same water-pulling force on your vessels. The volume resistance equation of high BP. Blood pressure equals volume times resistance. Sodium attacks the volume side. Where sodium goes, water follows. About 400 milligrams of water for every 1 milligram sodium. More water in the pipes. More pressure on the walls. On a 2,300 mg sodium day, you may hold nearly a liter of extra fluid. That's an entire sports drink bottle pulsing through 60,000 miles of vessels, forcing the heart to hammer harder. Chloride gets a free pass in media discussions, yet chloride secretly drives the kidney channels that reabsorb sodium. That means salt substitutes, where only some sodium is replaced by potassium, work wonders precisely because they reduce the tandem effect. Resistance, the other half, tightens when extra fluid stretches artery walls and activates hormones, angiotensin II, aldosterone, telling smooth muscle to constrict. Result: systolic spikes, diastolic creeps, and your doctor raises medication doses without ever asking what brand of marinara sits in your pantry. 3 hidden sodium traps, teaser. Healthy whole grain bread. One slice can rival a small pickle in sodium because bakers rely on salt to control yeast and deliver crust. 2 sandwiches equal a restaurant burger. Electrolyte waters and sports drinks, marketed for hydration, yet a single bottle can contain 450 milligrams sodium. Perfect for marathoners, disastrous for non-dipping hypertensives. Baking soda in pastry and pancakes, pure sodium bicarbonate. 1 teaspoon has 1,259 milligrams sodium, nearly the daily allotment for heart patients. That homemade apple pie might outsalt the chips you declined. We'll expose these fully in Part 2 and Part 3 and hand you swaps that satisfy taste without blowing your sodium budget. Why fancy salts don't save you. Himalayan, Celtic, black lava. Instagram is awash with pastel crystals promising trace minerals. Reality: you'd have to eat an entire cup of pink salt to get the magnesium found in half an avocado. Meanwhile, you just consumed 115,000 milligrams sodium, enough to raise blood pressure for weeks. Color, crunch, or price tag does nothing to reduce sodium's osmotic drag. The science people forget. Framingham Offspring Study. Every extra 1 gram of sodium raised systolic BP by 2.1 millimeters of mercury independent of potassium intake. Dash sodium trial. Cutting from 3,400 milligrams to 1,500 milligrams sodium drops systolic 8 to 10 millimeters of mercury in hypertensives within 30 days, as much as a starting dose of medication. Meta-analysis, BMJ 2021 sea salt, kosher salt, and pink salt showed no statistically significant BP difference compared to table salt when sodium grams were equal. Numbers beat marketing every time. What you'll learn in the next segments. Part 2 will expose hidden sodium trap number 1, bread and condiments, and trap number 2, fitness drinks and low-cal soups, including the hormonal fireworks each triggers. Part 3 unveils trap number 3 and settles the quality salt debate with hard absorption data. Finally, Part 4 hands you a 7-day sodium reset challenge, proven to shave 4 to 5 points off systolic in 1 week. Stay tuned. Those 8 to 10 extra millimeters on your gauge might vanish once you spot sodium where salt never shows its crystals. Part 2. Hidden sodium trap number 1 and trap number 2. Trap number 1. Heart-healthy bread, condiments, and breakfast spreads. You stand in the bakery aisle holding a loaf labeled 100% whole grain, low fat, high fiber. It looks virtuous. Brown speckles, sunflower seeds on the crust, a green heart icon. Surely better than white bread, right? In terms of fiber, yes. But flip the label. 230 milligrams sodium per slice. 2 slices? 460 milligrams before you add turkey or cheese. Toast at breakfast and a sandwich at lunch. And you've swallowed 920 milligrams, nearly 2/3 an entire day's allowance for someone with hypertension. Now add a squeeze of light mustard, 110 milligrams per teaspoon, or a tablespoon of ketchup, 160 milligrams, and your sodium tally silently approaches a gram, all without tasting especially salty, because bakers and condiment makers hide sodium in the form of sodium chloride, classic salt, to rein in yeast and strengthen gluten, sodium stearolactylate, to keep bread soft for weeks, sodium benzoate and sodium citrate for shelf life and tangy flavor. Each invisible crystal drags water into your bloodstream. Harvard's Intermap sub-study found that among 6,000 adults, bread products contributed 18% of daily sodium, more than chips, pizza, or cured meat. Worse, because bread carbs digest fast, they spike insulin, and insulin orders your kidneys to hoard even more sodium. Volume rises, arteries stretch, pressure climbs. Body Clues bread is your secret saboteur. Puffy eyes within an hour of breakfast toast. Mid-morning thirst to spite, 2 cups of coffee. Cuff reading higher on sandwich days and salad days. The pressure-friendly swap. Bake once, slice thin sodium-aware loaf. Use no-salt baking powder, potassium bicarbonate, and herbs for flavor. Homemade slices can hit 80 milligrams sodium each. Choose no-salt added condiments. Mustard without sodium exists. Flavor comes from vinegar and turmeric, not brine. Leaf wrap lunches. Swap bread for romaine boats or nori sheets. Crunch fiber, near zero sodium. A Canadian pilot trial replaced high-sodium bread with potassium-enriched, low-sodium version for 4 weeks. Participants' systolic BP fell 4.9 millimeters of mercury, and urinary sodium to potassium ratio improved by 20%. Proof that even small bakery choices ripple through your arteries. Trap number 2. Sports drinks, electrolyte waters, and light canned soups. You hit the gym, grab a neon bottle bragging, electrolytes, 0 sugar. Or maybe you sip a bone broth on a fasting day because a YouTuber called it gut healing. And when a cold front hits, you warm a light canned soup, only 80 calories. All 3 share one faith, high sodium disguised as wellness. In sports and electrolyte drinks, endurance athletes sweat out grams of salt. Weekend warriors do not. Yet commercial sports drinks deliver 300 to 500 milligrams sodium per 500 milliliters. Drink 2 on a treadmill equals same sodium as a fast food burger. A Stanford study put pre-hypertensive adults through moderate cycling. Water versus sports drink. Post-workout systolic averaged 6 millimeters of mercury higher in the sports drink group for 2 hours, nullifying exercise's normal BP drop. 2 broths and light soups. Labels shout 25% less sodium, but per can numbers remain 700 to 900 milligrams. Corporate trick, lower serving size. Eat the whole can, because you split soup in thirds, and you ingest nearly an entire teaspoon of salt. Johns Hopkins researchers found that swapping canned soup for homemade no-salt veggie broth slashed 24-hour urinary sodium by 400 milligrams and lowered systolic BP by 5 millimeters of mercury in 10 days. 3. 0 sugar but not 0 impact. Many electrolyte waters replace sugar with sucralose or acesulfame K. Animal studies show artificial sweeteners may alter gut microbes, increasing gut permeability and low-grade inflammation, another throttle on endothelial health. Body clues you're drowning in healthy sodium. Salt craving after exercise even when muscles aren't cramping. Sign your drink prime taste buds. Evening ankle swelling on soup nights. BP rebound after sauna/hot yoga despite fluid intake. Smart swaps that hydrate without harm. DIY electrolyte water. 500 milliliters water. Juice of half a lemon. Pinch of potassium chloride salt. Teaspoon raw honey. Sodium less than 80 milligrams. Potassium 200 milligrams. Flips the ratio. Miso less miso. Blend veggie broth with nutritional yeast, seaweed flakes, ginger. Umami without the 900 milligrams punch. Post-workout coconut water unsweetened. Delivers potassium to flush residual sodium and gently rehydrate. Why these traps outsmart willpower. Bread plus condiments plus health. Drinks appear in environments where you don't expect danger. Office kitchens, wellness retreats, grocery aisles labeled smart choices. Your brain dismisses sodium cues when food lacks an overt salty taste. But sodium's osmotic pull isn't fooled by branding. Remove trap number 1 and number 2, and many hypertensives shed 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams sodium instantly, often enough to match a starting diuretic. In part 3 will expose the third and sneakiest trap, then settle the pink versus white versus sea salt myth with cold absorption data. Your arteries are halfway home. Keep watching so the final crystal loses its grip. Part 3. Hidden sodium trap number 3 and the quality salt myth. Trap number 3. Restaurant and out-of-home sodium overload. You meal prepped all week, logged every milligram, and on Friday you reward yourself with a grilled chicken salad at a chain cafe. No fries, no bread basket, dressing on the side. Surely safe until you wake Saturday with swollen fingers and a systolic bump of 8 points. How? Because even the healthiest sounding restaurant dish is swimming in hidden sodium. Brine meats. Chicken breast soaked 12 hours in salt phosphate baths, 500 to 2,000 milligrams sodium before grilling. Pre-washed salad greens. Commercial mixes are treated with sodium benzoate rinse. Adds 120 to 150 milligrams per bowl. Seasoning dust. A pinch of proprietary spice blend adds 250 milligrams, but tastes like herbs, not salt. Dressing base. Even vinegar on the side starts with sodium citrate and MSG to stay shelf-stable, another 300 milligrams. One Johns Hopkins audit of 40 chain salads found an average one 700 milligrams sodium, more than a Big Mac. Worse, because you can't taste most of it, you feel virtuous and skip water, letting osmotic fluid build all night. Ambulatory monitors show non-dipping patterns for up to 36 hours after a single high restaurant sodium meal. Red flag clues. Morning weight up 0.8 to 1 kilogram despite unchanged calories. BP higher on weekends, Restaurant Friday effect. Rings tight, eyelids puffy, thirst that coffee can't quench. Practical defense. Ask no brine, no seasoning salt. Kitchens will grill meat plain if you insist. Bring a mini bottle of homemade dressing, olive oil, lemon, herbs, potassium salt. Or choose cuisines with fresh prep. Sushi requests low-sodium soy. Peruvian ceviche, salt and marinade but volume small. Mediterranean mezzi built around lemon, herbs, and olive oil. Even 2 low-sodium restaurant swaps per week can shave 800 to 200 milligrams per day off your average intake. Often the difference between stage 1 and control BP. A 2022 BMJ meta-analysis tested sea, Himalayan, and table salt head-to-head. No difference in blood pressure impact when milligrams of sodium were matched. Trace magnesium or iron are biologically negligible at culinary doses. Absorption speed myth. Some claim larger crystals, kosher flakes, absorb slower. Wrong. In your stomach, all dissolve into identical Na and Cl ions within seconds. Kidney sees no brand or color. The only salt that truly helps. Potassium-enriched salt, at least 30% KCl, not only reduces sodium but delivers potassium, an ion that tells kidneys to excrete sodium. The massive salt substitute in stroke study, China, 2021, followed 20,000 hypertensive adults using 75% NaCl/25% KCl blend. Systolic BP dropped 3.3 millimeters of mercury. Stroke risk fell 14%. No significant hyperkalemia. That a public health result medication advertisers would kill for. The at-home 24-hour sodium experiment. Want undeniable proof of sodium's effect on your body? Evening. Weigh yourself, measure BP. Write numbers. Eat a restaurant meal you suspect is salty. Morning. Weigh and measure again. Difference greater than 0.7 kilograms plus BP up. That extra weight is water-bound to sodium you ate. Repeat on a controlled, low-sodium homemade dinner night. Most people see static weight, normal dip, and lower morning BP. Seeing fluid shift in kilograms turns theory into motivation. Add a basic urine sodium test strip next morning. Dark green color? You flooded your kidneys. Why this matters. Every 5 millimeters of mercury drop in systolic cuts stroke risk 10%. The hidden restaurant salt and healthy fancy crystals keep you from that drop. Swap them out, flip to potassium salt, and your BP medication may finally have breathing room to work smarter, not harder. Part 4. The 7-Day Sodium Reset. A final look at the sodium shadow. For years you were told salt is bad, so you banished a shaker and never tasted grains on your food again. Yet your blood pressure log still reads like a stubborn stock chart. Now you know why. Most of the sodium that swells your arteries never came from the crystals you sprinkle. It rode in on stealth vehicles, whole grain bread, electrolyte waters, can light soups, restaurant salads, and even the pastel crystals influencers hype as Himalayan miracles. 3 hidden traps. Bread plus condiments, silent half-grammage of sodium at every meal. Sport drinks plus light soups, wellness packaging disguising brine. Restaurant and fancy salt myths, brine meats and pink salt marketing that changes color, not chemistry. Know the traps, and suddenly the blood pressure puzzle pieces click. The difference between living at 150/95 and gliding down to 130/82 could be a single gram of sodium spread across 24 hours. The 7-Day Sodium Reset Challenge. Goal. Prove to yourself and your cuff that trimming hidden sodium lowers BP in a single week. All you need is curiosity, a notebook, and a willingness to read labels like your life depends on it, because statistically, it does. Day 1. Baseline and awareness. Weigh yourself. Measure morning BP. Snap phone pics of every label you eat today. Don't change anything yet. Log total sodium. The app's MyFitnessPal or Chronometer help. Many see 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams without salting once. Day 2. Bread and condiment purge. Swap supermarket loaf for low-sodium home bake, or rye crackers less than or equal to 80 milligrams per serving. Replace ketchup/mustard with no-salt salsa or mashed avocado plus herbs. Target cut, 600 milligrams. Day 3. Hydration flip. Ditch all electrolyte waters. Mix your own. 500 milliliters water. Juice of half lemon. Pinch potassium chloride. Teaspoon honey. If you sweat heavily, sip coconut water, pure or unsweetened. Target cut, 400 milligrams. Day 4. Soup and broth rehab. No canned soup unless labeled less than or equal to 140 milligrams sodium rare. Cook pot of veggie broth with potassium salt. Freeze in portions. Lunch. Broth plus beans plus greens. Target cut, 700 milligrams. Day 5. Restaurant rewrite. Eat out? Tell server no brine, no seasoning salt, or choose raw items sashimi, ceviche. Bring pocket dressing. Ask for nutrition sheet. If sodium unknown, have portion. Fill with salad. Target cut, 500 milligrams, often more. Day 6. Mineral upgrade. Swap household salt shaker to 75% NaCl/25% KCl blend or 100% KCl, if doctor approves. Use herbs, citrus, smoked paprika, nutritional yeast for flavor depth. Target cut, 300 milligrams. Day 7. Audit and celebrate. Repeat morning weigh-in and BP. Compare day 1. Many see 0.5 to 1 kilogram weight drop fluid and 4 to 8 millimeters of mercury systolic decline. Post results with hashtag sodium reset in the comments. Pro tip. Add urine sodium test strips on days 1 and 7. Watching the color bar lighten is visceral proof your kidneys finally dumped the brine. What to expect inside your arteries. Hours 0 to 24. As sodium intake plummets, kidneys begin shedding extra fluid. You'll urinate more. Don't panic. Drink plain water to stay balanced. Days 2 to 4. Ankle swelling fades. Morning rings loosen. Systolic readings dip 2 to 3 points. Days 5 to 7. Hormones reset. Aldosterone production eases. Endothelial cells start pumping out more nitric oxide. Many experience deeper sleep and lighter head on waking. That's your nighttime dip returning. Cutting sodium is not deprivation. It is mechanical relief for 60,000 miles of vascular plumbing that finally gets to relax after years of hydraulic overload. For every 1,000 milligrams drop in daily sodium, average systolic falls 2 millimeters of mercury. That sounds small until you recall the epidemiology. 2 millimeters of mercury, less equals 10% fewer strokes across a population. In your personal life, that might translate to one less pill, one less ER visit, or one more decade of kidneys that still filter like teenagers. And remember, potassium is sodium's biochemical antidote. As you reduce sodium, raise potassium with leafy greens, beans, bananas, avocados. Aim for 3,500 plus mg potassium. The ratio, not just the absolute sodium number, dictates fluid balance. If a friend or parent keeps sprinkling pink salt thinking it's healthy, this video could save them from dialysis or a silent stroke. Smash like if at least one trap surprised you. Every like nudges YouTube's algorithm to show this to another hypertensive still fooled by packaging. Comment your day 1 sodium tally and day 7 BP result with the tag #SodiumReset. Real numbers demolish skepticism faster than any academic lecture. Subscribe and ring the bell because next week we drop potassium hacks to flush excess sodium, the perfect sequel to locking your gains. Share the link in family group chats, office Slack, or that wellness group endorsing Miracle Salt. One message might shave 10 points off someone's systolic and a decade of burden off national health care. Final thought. Your arteries don't crave heroic acts. They crave consistency. They don't recognize brand names or crystal colors. Only sodium ions squeezing from the outside in. Give them 7 disciplined nights, and they'll gift you lower numbers, lighter mornings, and quieter fears. Salt the earth of hidden sodium. Water your body with minerals that heal. And watch your pressure fall like grain sliding off a tilted shaker. Steadily, inevitably, beautifully downward. See you in the comments. Warrior, stay calm, stay mineral smart, and keep that pressure cascading toward healthy lows.